automobile needs has been our family business for over 60 years. 4 generations of family members who have always been committed to maintaining the highest tradition of excellence. That commitment continues today at Detriot.
It is our sincere desire to give you the best price, the best selection, and the best service on any car we sell. Commitment, that's the Detriot difference.
Jim Cruz coming in with a record of 13-13 in the MCC, dead even, but he has gone over the 500 mark, 38-33. John Mulroy, on the other hand, is 1-12. He's 28 years young, but he probably feels like he's 58 with the problems this club has been having. Tullis on the dribble, gets a couple people up, and Marty Simmons with a rebound.
Good defensive pressure on Archie Tullis right now. He's really trying to get his shot off and really having trouble.
Beltra Dawson. Gottfried. And Detroit will bring it down. Back out to Owen. 2 points, Marvin Owens. Owens has all 6 of Detroit's points. It's an 11-6 Evansville lead.
He can score some points. He's a good shooter. He's scored up in the 20s already this year. So if you leave him alone and you concentrate too much on Tullis, he's going to score.
Simmons. And a foul on Dan Gottfried. So Dan picks up his second foul at the 15:31 mark, and that immediately brings Chris Bamba in. You were going to talk about Olaf Blop, Dean.
Well, the problem now with Godfrey picking up 2 fouls, you can't put an Olaf Blop in. There you see Godfrey picking up the foul going over the back. You have to bring in Bamba because Olaf has a right lower leg. I hope I say this right. Steve Dayton, the trainer, gave me this. A peroneal, is that right?
Perineal.
Perineal, okay. A perineal inflammation. So he's got a little problem with his right lower calf is what that means. It's a little sore and a little inflamed. So he won't be playing tonight.
And Brian Hill controls it. Although we won't see Olaf during the game, Dean did a feature on him earlier this week. We have a interesting piece on Olaf Blop at halftime. But right now, the Aces try to build their 5-point lead. It's 11-6. Scott Hafner coming in with his career-high 11 assists. Chris Bamba, good position with the putback.
You saw something very rare there. Brian Hill missing a shot. We'll talk some more about Brian Hill's shooting proficiency. 88% in the last 2 games, Mike. Not too bad. I guess he would be the MCC leader at 88%, wouldn't he?
That time that was an official's time, there was something thrown on the floor. They had to remove it. Mike Brown comes off, and number 24, Alan Clay, comes in. Clay out of Cincinnati Woodward, the same school that produced Bill Donald, as Archie Tullis goes up and gets his first basket of the night. Tullis averaging 29 in MCC play, averages 23 on the year. It's 13-8 Evansville. Hill, good position in the jam. Brian Hill.
That's why Brian shoots that high percentage. A lot of times he's looking down on the basket when he's shooting.
Coming in, he had been 14 of 16 in his last 2 games. Owens. Simmons with a rebound. Dawson on the break. And Beltra goes up for his second basket.
Beltra looked like one of the Denver Broncos wide receivers going under that one. And John Elway was Marty Simmons that time.
One of the 3 amigos, huh? 17-8 Evansville. And a foul on Marvin Owens. The ref said he was not in position, and Owens, number 4, commits the foul.
Had called a moving pick that time. You have to stay set out there in front. Get both feet on the floor. Let's see if you pick it up. And Owens, well, he really wasn't moving his feet as much as he tried to shift over with that knee. Hit that brace. That'd hurt.
Hafner. And a 3-point basket by Scott Hafner.
You know, we were watching the Aces warm up before the game, and boy, they were really shooting the lights out. There were hardly any misses, and so far in the early going, they've been able to get that in the game as well.
Archie Tullis, who had 43 here against John Carroll, a Division III school, last week, had 33 against Loyola. He's got 4 tonight. Simmons is pass is an errant pass. It's up in a hurry to McKinney. To Clay on the drive, no good, and a foul. And they call it on Stacy Johnson as 2 white jerseys really crashed the board.
Good defense that time by the Aces. Scott Hafner got back and stopped the fast break and forced the miss, and then there was a foul committed trying to rebound it.
UE with a record of 14-2 is off to its best start in 20 years. The best start ever was that same team when they were 17-2. So the Aces have a ways to go before they can match that. Simmons, offensive foul on Marty Simmons.
Marty Simmons spinning in the middle, kind of blindsided that time. Got called for the charging foul. See Kennedy coming over, sealing off the baseline, and Owens goes down as Marty makes the move in the paint.
Talking about Marty Simmons, coaches say that Joe Sexton pointed out, he's so strong that it's tough for a small guard to cover him, and he's too quick for the big guy. And Archie Tullis heating up. His third basket, it was for 2 points, and it's 20-12. Aces by 8.
Speaking of a tough guy to cover, that guy can shoot the lights out.
Simmons. Rebound, Stacy Johnson. So now Detroit starting to get the momentum back. Marvin Owens. But the Aces are doing a nice job on the defensive board. Scott Hafner with a rebound. Hafner played 37 minutes the other night against Butler without a turnover. That had to be very pleasing. Simmons kind of drop kicks it down to Hill. A block. Bamba gets it, puts it up. Hill goes up, and a foul as Stacy Johnson hits the deck, or rather Marvin Owen.
Let's see who they're going to call the foul on. Owens is down. They're going to call that one on Hill. I thought maybe they might get Bamba beforehand. And Bamba is grimacing a little bit. Mike, I can't tell if he's hurt his knee or he's just out of breath a little bit.
He plays with such an intensity. He has only one gear all out. He might be a little tired early here. Incidentally, it is on Hill. That's the 15th foul as Tullis shoots again. Foul on Stacy Johnson underneath.
Johnson is very active in there, and he may take his toll on the Aces big men inside. And as we said earlier, Olaf Blopp is not going to be able to play tonight, and it's going to be Gottfried inside, and he's already picked up 2 fouls. So now Bamba is in there. You might see Larry Brand or Jeff Morning in there before it's over with in the first half.
That was Marvin Owens being talked to on the bench. He has a bad knee, or doesn't have a real strong knee. Perhaps he hurt it on that last play. Aces still by 8 as you see the time in the corner. Hafner down the baseline, and a strong rebound by Dan Kennedy. For the alley-oop, a nice play. Tullis to McKinney. Darren McKinney. He's the freshman out of Lansing. It was a all-state football prospect, highly recruited, but he's opted for basketball.
It would be a great wide receiver. He could go over a lot of defensive backs and get balls like that one.
Simmons draws a foul as we have some substitutions coming in. Rick Taylor and Curtis Jackson come in.
You know, Mike, a lot of times we hear, you know, is Marty Simmons going to be able to make it as a pro? Will he make it in the NBA? We might have some answers for you coming up at halftime. We're going to be talking to Forty Anderson, a scout for the Celtics. And who better to know but a scout for the Celtics? They evaluate people very well in the Boston organization.
Simmons, and Marty fills it. At 7 points for Simmons, a 22-14 lead. That last foul was on Darian McKinney, but it's the 4th foul on Detroit, so they're still not near the 1-and-1. Good position, McKinney. Darren McKinney, that's a big body that they've got to move out. It's about 230.
Curtis is not going to match up with McKinney real well. Curtis just at 6'2".
Curtis, of course, has been very consistent. Jackson. Simmons again. And Marty Simmons he's had two 25-point performances against Detroit a year ago. And he's well on his way to that performance again tonight. He has 9 of Evansville's points. They lead by 8.
Boy, Tullis is so smooth, and watch him work without the ball.
Clay picking it up, the loose ball is Rick Taylor.
Mike, you've already called a lot of different names for Detroit, and they really run the people in and out, and a lot of people will see action tonight. 13 different players have started for the Titans so far this year.
Simmons again. This one's not going to go. Simmons goes down. Hill gets the rebound, and a foul underneath on Brian Hill.
Marty went down. It looked like Brian had pretty good position underneath.
We're going to get another look at it.
Brian's going to pick up foul number 3 as he goes over the back. Looks like a pretty good call. Kennedy had the good position.
So with timeout on the floor, Detroit's cut the lead to 6. It's 24-18 Aces.
Reminder to America, it's not just men who farm our land, but also more than 1 million farm women who work as their partners to make America's food system one of the most productive on earth. That's something we shouldn't take for granted. This message brought to you on behalf of the American farmer by the makers of Dual Herbicide.
When a person is injured in an accident, the entire family can feel the burden of medical expenses, property damage, or lost income. At Robert John & Associates, there is no fee to meet with us to discuss these problems and your legal rights. There is no obligation to hire us to represent you, but you will be more informed about your rights. Should you hire us, our fee is only a fraction of your recovery. If there is no recovery, then there is no fee.
Robert John & Associates, 425-2718, no recovery, no fee.
As the Aces break the huddle, we remind you again, tomorrow on NBC and Channel 14 at Sports World at 11 a.m., followed by the Senior Skins game. And then a team you'll be seeing here on 14, 2 weeks from tonight, the 13th from Chicago. DePaul takes on North Carolina State. That's tomorrow afternoon at 3 on 14. Some early stats, Dean Webster.
John Mulroy right there saying, guys, we've got to shoot better than 42%, which is what they are shooting so far. The Aces 11 of 22 for 50%, and also 2 of 5 from three-point land, so they're getting the three-pointers to fall early on too.
Archie Tullis, good penetration. Bamba fights it for the ball. It goes out of bounds. It'll go over to Evansville. Credit Chris Bamba with some aggressive defensive play.
Well, you mentioned Jim Cruz's Chris Bamba only has 1 speed, and that's full out.
The Aces had a much easier time getting to Detroit than they did on their last road trip to Iowa. No complications travel-wise, and it was a pretty day here in Detroit. Hafner from 3-point. Pretty shot by Scott Hafner. 2 baskets and both for 3 for Scott, and it's 27-18.
Scott's shot selection so far tonight has been very good.
Kennedy with a fake shot. Marvin Owen needing some help. He better get rid of it. Tullis gets the foul from Scott Hafner.
Tullis is just so quick and deceptive. And you remember when the Aces played here last year, well, Hafner had some trouble holding on to Tullis, but it was for good reason because Scott was a little slowed by an ankle. He's healthy now, and he said, hey, Arch, come here, buddy. You're still a little bit too quick. And we don't want to send this guy to the free throw line.
He has not missed against Evansville, as mentioned.
In his career.
He has made 59 of 62 on the year. No wonder he's smiling. Archie is now 21, make it 22 in a row. 22 free throws in a row, and the Titans are back within 7. Detroit with some pressure. They don't pressure the whole time as Curtis Jackson gets the roll. Curtis with his first basket. Detroit feels they don't have the athletes to press for 40 minutes, but they will change the defenses as they did there, but Evansville burned them anyway. Taylor.
If Detroit can keep doing that, they're going to give the Aces problems. You see the Aces switched off, had 2 guys on Tullis, and Taylor was able to get the ball from Tullis and hit the jumper, and that's what Detroit wants to do right now. Use Tullis even in a
whistle away from the ball underneath on Curtis Jackson.
What they want to do is even use Tullis somewhat as a decoy. They obviously want him to score a lot, but if the Aces take Tullis away, they'll get it to other people and see if they can hit their shots.
Being the 7th team foul, that will send McKinney to the line. Darian McKinney. The media guy describes him as body by Nautilus.
He has got some muscles on that frame.
A little too much muscle on that free throw, and an overreach by Dan Kennedy. Kennedy with his first personal. That's the 5th team foul, and the Aces now will bring it up, leading 29-22.
Kennedy had started 10 of 16 games for Detroit and 2 of the 3 conference games. But tonight it was Paul Williams that got the start instead of Kennedy, but I'm sure Dan's going to be in there playing quite a bit. He looks like a pretty good athlete, pretty good player.
Brown back in for Detroit. You may remember him a year ago. He had 11 points in the second half against the Aces. Played very well. Nice pass underneath to Curtis Jackson. Alfred Austin.
Biggest lead for the Aces so far.
Tullis tries to get it down to McKinney, and it goes out of bounds. Knocked away by Marty Simmons. You're watching Aces basketball live from Detroit on WFIE TV, Channel 14, Evansville.
I take that back. Gave you some wrong information there. Not the biggest lead. 12 points is the biggest lead at 20-8 early on. Got to keep those stats right.
That's right. On the fadeaway was Brown. Getting it back is Taylor. And Bamba with the position and the rebound. Taylor has a nice touch, doesn't he, the lefty?
He'll be one of the guys that will be trying to take some of the pressure off Tullis.
I got Dan, I got 32.
And a foul on Dan Kennedy, number 32, as number 32, Curtis Jackson, goes down. That is Kennedy's second personal. Little over 7 minutes remaining as the Aces bring it in. Next foul, they'll go to the line.
Now that's a better job of shot selection there by Scott Hafner. A couple of games ago, he might have squeezed the trigger on that.
Simmons, boy, great shot in traffic. Marty Simmons with his 5th basket. He has 11 points.
There's the guy you want squeezing the trigger more often than not.
Tullis. To show you how tough it is for Detroit, one of the things, they're not the only game in town. Last night, 61,000 plus paid a ticket to see the Pistons. So that, you know, a lot of other people aren't going to pay to come and see another game tonight. And a foul as McKinney. Curtis Jackson draws a lot of attention and brings the second foul to Darian McKinney.
I don't know how many people are here tonight, Mike, but it can't be more than about 1,600 or so. They're missing a pretty good game so far, and they're missing a good team. They need to get out here and back the Titans. These guys are some pretty good athletes, and Archie Tullis quite a talent.
They had a very good recruiting class, freshman-wise. Zico is a good recruiter. So they feel they're, you know, with McKinney and a couple others, Clay, the kid out of Cincinnati. And again, Taylor, they've got some very nice talent, but it has not matured as Curtis Jackson shoots for his 6th point. And it remains 34-24. Aces by an even 10. Tullis for 3. Archie Tullis. A lot of good guards in the MCC, and we've seen a few of them. And we're going to see more before the end of the year. Don't forget, we'll be live from Chicago, 7:30 Monday night. The Loyola Ramblers, who are taking on St. Louis. They'll tip it off at 8 o'clock Evansville time from Chicago. We don't have a score yet. Simmons draws the foul. He's a master, isn't he?
So good at doing that. Little pump fake, get you in the air, and he's going to go ahead and shoot it. A lot of times he'll put the ball in the far hand, but I think maybe with a little wrist problem, he says, let me just go ahead and go to the free throw line and shoot the free throws. But a lot of times he'll get you in the air, bump you, and then still try to get the shot off with the ball away from your body. So when your body hits you, it's not going to knock the ball away, and he'll still try to get it in the air.
Well, that'll be the last that we'll see of Darian McKinney, I would suspect, for the half. That's his third personal, coming at 5:52 as the magnificent mule out of Lawrenceville.
Is that a compliment, a magnificent mule?
Absolutely.
15 of 16 in MCC play the last 3 games for the magnificent mule.
Talk about the numbers. They're well documented, but he had 90 points, 19 rebounds, and 12 assists in those 3 games last week. And he's well on his way to having another good game tonight. 13 points unofficially for Simmons, the leading scorer in the game. Tullis, who's giving him competition, that's for 2. I beg your pardon. He now has 15. So Tullis, living up to his billing, keeps Detroit within 7, 36-29. Dawson loses it. Tullis will take it down, off to Owens. And for the first time in a long time, the Titans are back within 5.
That was Tullis again coming up with the steal, getting the ball down the floor and getting it to the right guy. Good dish off.
Beltro Dawson had a good game the other night against Butler as Hafner misses from close to 3-point range.
Looks like he's a little worn out. I'm sure he can't be real conditioned with that bad knee.
Williams, Paul Williams, and now Detroit starting to heat up.
Jim Crews might take a timeout here. 5 minutes to go. Might wait for the TV timeout because the next stop and play, I think we get a TV timeout.
Dan Gottfried and Troy Jones about to come in. Another nice pass, but Curtis Jackson can't get it to roll. Dawson with a nice feed, but it doesn't work. Tullis, and look out, suddenly what is a small crowd is on its feet, and there is going to be a timeout here. Suddenly a very fine ball game. Aces lead is dwindled to 1, 36-35.
The Aces are hot and on the road to an MCC championship. Help keep the momentum going by hitting the road with the Aces. For just $130, you can travel to Cincinnati to root the Aces to victory over the Musketeers of Xavier University and bring home the MCC title. You'll enjoy round-trip transportation in a comfortable, luxurious motor coach with free refreshments en route. Select accommodations for 2 at Cincinnati's premier hotel, the Posh Omni Netherlands, plus your game tickets for 2. Reservations must be made now. Send us the names of those attending, address, phone number, and a check or money order for $130. Mail to Aces Road Trip, P.O. Box 1414, Evansville, Indiana, 47701. Please, no cash, no phone calls. Double occupancy only, no meals provided. The Aces need your support on the road. So mail today, that's $130, and your name, address, and phone number. Send to Aces Road Trip, P.O. Box 1414, Evansville, Indiana, 47701. Go to Xavier with the Aces.
4:16 on the clock, 36-35 Aces. Dean, is that a real smart move, perhaps?
You had someone in the stands threw a paper airplane out onto the floor, and not only is it hazardous to the players, but it stopped the clock and it called for the TV timeout. The crowd was getting into the game. The Aces looked a little rattled. They were trying to get some fresh troops in. Detroit had reeled off 8 straight points, so they were on a roll. And then all of a sudden, the crowd's out of the game, but now they're getting back into it a little bit as the Aces turn the ball over.
One of the new players for the Aces, Troy Jones. Number 12, as now Detroit with a chance to take the lead. Alan Clay, the left-hander. Quite a tip, a battle by credit Stacy Johnson with keeping it alive, or rather Paul Williams, number 33. So Detroit will keep it.
The field goal percentage is picked up for Detroit. They're up to 52%. The Aces at 54%, so almost dead even.
Tullis. And a rebound by Curtis Jackson. UE, as Dean mentioned, had led 20-8 by 12, their biggest lead. It is down to 1 with about 3.5 minutes remaining. An errant pass, it'll go back to Detroit. Again, last February 21st, UE and the Aces and we beamed in brightly here from Callahan Hall on what was to be a great night where the Aces had a chance to win the conference outright against, again, a team that had only 5 wins on the year, Detroit. And Detroit beat the Aces 72-66, and now are giving some indication that they could upset the heavily favored Aces tonight. A block, but Williams is there, doesn't get it. Turn around, Kennedy. And a foul on Troy Jones. Dan Kennedy with the basket, and Jones.
Possibility of a 4-point play here because it's a 1-on-1 situation. It's after the bucket. It counted. And Detroit has now reeled off 10 straight. They lead at 37-36 the first time since it was 2-0 when Marvin Owen hit the first bucket of the game.
Owens is an 81% free throw shooter as Stacy Johnson comes in. He's a junior college. He was the Titans' #1 recruiting priority. Number 52, Johnson. And here is Mr. Owens. His 9th point of the night, and it's a 38-36 Detroit lead.
Good free throw shooter, hasn't missed in league play. He shoots 81% from the free throw line during the regular season.
Again, UE coming in 3rd in the nation behind BYU and North Carolina in shooting at 55%, and who better to go to than Marty Simmons. Simmons with 15, the Aces back within 1. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Mike Blake along with Dean Webster, live from the Motor City. The first place Evansville Aces taking on the winless Detroit Titans. And Marvin Owens goes into double figures. And it's 41-38. That was a 2-point shot. Curtis Jackson. And it goes over to Evansville. Marty Simmons thought it was off of Stacy Johnson underneath, but it'll go to Detroit. And the shuttle system continues. Kennedy in for Williams. Mike Brown comes out, and Alan Clay comes in.
The Aces went nearly 3 minutes without scoring, and Simmons scored with 5:50 left, and then the last time down the floor before they turned it over there, 3:05 was on the clock, so they went 2 minutes and 50 seconds in between.
These guys aren't shy to put it up from anywhere. Played down low. Kennedy draws a foul on Curtis Jackson. Wait a minute, traveling. I beg your pardon.
I think that was whoops. I blew the whistle, and I don't have a call to make. I think he thought Jackson fouled him and realized that he didn't, so he called traveling.
Simmons does it again, and the basket is good. What a play, and John Mulroy erupts.
We've talked about that. Simmons gets a little pump fake, and John Mulroy is hot. He does not like that call at all.
Watch this.
There's the contact, and Marty goes up and gets it off. That's the NBA 3-point play you're trying to get there, the continuation.
Simmons with another outstanding first half. As for the most part, single-handedly kept the Aces in this. Chris Bamba comes in.
Although he's gotten a lot of support this year, he's single-handedly done it a lot of times this season.
That was Dan Kennedy's 3rd personal, as Dan Gottfried will come out. Gottfried has 2 personals and 2 baskets. And that's Rick Taylor going back in for Stacy Johnson for Detroit. There you see the time, 2:01, as Marty Simmons goes to the free throw line.
Marty can get this thing tied back up at 41.
Simmons, incidentally, is 11th in the country, Division I in scoring, averaging 25 points a game. Under 2 minutes. Marvin Owen. Bamba with a rebound. Hafner. Good ball movement by the Aces. Hafner gets it back and in.
Scott Hafner took that shot, just turned around and started running down the floor. He says that felt pretty good.
And Aces back on top, 43-41, as Mr. Tullis sets up shot. 1:20 to go in the first half. Again, we'll feature Olaf Block, the 7-foot ace. Good steal by Simmons. And Marty goes coast to coast and puts it in. 45-41. Aces by 4 with a minute to go.
7 straight points by the Aces now to reclaim a 4-point lead.
Alan Clay. Batted around. Great save by Curtis Jackson as Roy goes.
Oh.
39 seconds to go in the first half. Hafner left alone, draws a crowd, in and out. And a foul on, they're going to call it on Scott Hafner.
That's a tough one. Loose ball, guys going after it, and I think that's Hafner's third.
I've got him for 2.
Okay.
We'll see what happens here. 29 seconds on the clock.
That is the second, you're right. He goes after him, and Scott does initiate the contact there, just trying to go after it hard.
Obviously, you don't like to send him to the line. Stop that clock. Larry Brand coming in, making his first appearance. 6'7" sophomore out of Wheaton, Illinois, coming in for Chris Bamba.
With Olaf Blop out of commission tonight with a problem with his right calf and his lower leg. It almost takes 2 people to fill his spot, and Bamba and Brand in there tonight.
This is Rick Taylor out of Plymouth, Salem. Boy, he absolutely went nuts last year in the state tournament. In 4 games, he averaged 28 points and 14 rebounds. Big tip, great. And a big rebound. Brand loses it, though. This is Billy Wood. And knocked out of bounds. It'll be the Aces ball.
Detroit really hitting the boards hard that time. Could have been a couple of fouls called. Boy, either way, their body's really banging in there. You like to see that, though. Let them play a little bit. Don't make the call.
15 seconds on the clock in the half. Simmons, bingo. Marty, 47-42, 4 seconds. Tullis is going to have to hurry. There's the horn. And that's our half. Evansville leads it 47-42. We'll be back in just a moment.
A lot of people think FDIC insurance is the first line of safety for their money. Fact is, like all insurance, it's the last resort. You should measure the soundness of your bank the way analysts and bank examiners do, by the capital strength of the bank. Old National's is double our nearest competitor, greater than all the others combined. More strength, more resources, more protection. There's safety in numbers with your bank for life. Old National Bank Corp.
The time has come for those stories you hear of other eyewear stores being cheaper and faster to be shattered.
I can't believe I got these glasses at Sun Optical for almost $100 less than on the east side. The same pair. Can you believe it? The service is great, and I got them as fast as the other store had promised them.
Check Sun Optical's prices, and you'll find the lowest prices around and professional doctors on the premises for a thorough eye exam. Sun Optical on the downtown walkway.
Don't take a lot of static this winter. Let a quality-built Bemis humidifier turn your home into a land of ahs. There's a full range of Bemis humidifiers from whole house models to space savers and the unique room size ultrasonic model. Convenient features such as top filling and hidden casters make Bemis humidifiers easy to use and maintain. And they're priced right. No shock to your budget. Don't take the static from a dry home. Take home a Bemis humidifier from Keisters.
Of all the reasons why American farmers take care of the land, one stands apart. One reason why farmers till the earth in ways that conserve precious topsoil. One reason why farmers plant the right crops in the right fields. Because today, the American farmer knows his land will someday be his land. This message brought to you on behalf of the American farmer by the makers of Dual Herbicide.
Mike Blake and Dean Webster back here at Callahan Hall. The Aces open up a big lead, then lose it, but regain it by a few points here at halftime.
Well, they had a 12-point lead, 20-day. We have a free throw shooting contest going on in the background. Aces had a 12-point lead, about 14 minutes to go, and then they kind of got away from them, and they got a little run, and we talked about the paper airplane being thrown out on the floor, and it really stopped a Detroit run. So then they called timeout. Detroit still got the lead finally at 41-38, but the Aces kept their poise, got the maturity back, and now lead it at the halftime by 5, 47-42.
Mr. Marty Simmons, sore wrist or not, what a first half.
He's controlled things underneath. When he gets the ball, almost unstoppable, and he's got that pump fake going tonight. He's been making the contact, and although he missed one of the three-point try opportunities, he made another one. We'll find out maybe if he can make it in the NBA a little bit later in the half.
21 points for Marty Simmons. Archie, tell us the other side, 17 points.
He really got heated up, and whenever the Aces try to come over and double up on him, what they're doing is they brought Taylor in off the bench, a good shooter. They made that pick, bring him to the free throw line. Tolis has got Curtis Jackson and Scott Hafner staring him in the face. He says, I'll just pitch it to a guy that's open. And so far, the Titans have been able to hit that shot, and that's really what's keeping them in the game.
Well, someone who's injured on the Aces team, Olaf Blop. We're going to hear from him. A look at Olaf, the transfer student, right after this.
The best just became the fastest. Schmidt Photo is proud to announce the newest addition to the most complete photo lab in the Midwest. Kodak's new 35mm and 35-minute film processor. Bring in your film to Schmidt Photo East, and your prestige prints will be ready in about half an hour. And under the same rigid quality control that helps Schmidt Photo attain the highest rating in Kodak's prestigious color watch system. So, when time and quality are important, trust your film to Schmidt Photo.
Our magazine at 3, Oprah Winfrey at 4, only on WFIE-TV, Channel 14.
Again, back here, 47-42 Aces. Let's talk about Olaf Blop.
Well, Olaf is not in uniform tonight, and we didn't know that coming up here. And we did a story with him earlier in the week. Really a nice kid. Tonight, his problem is a little inflammation in his lower right calf, but he should be okay, and we'll definitely see action maybe on Monday night, get back into it. Olaf has had a series of hurdles he's had to get over. He's had to come over, and he's had to be first an American, and then he had to understand how to go to school here and learn that. But maybe his biggest test of all is becoming an American college basketball player. This is Olaf's car, sort of a reflection of how Olaf plays. A little rusty, but keeps plugging away.
It's big, it's rusty, and it just makes all kinds of sounds. But, I mean, I like my car. I get around, and I don't need really anything else. Besides, I don't have any money to get me a real good car, and that will do right now.
Olaf has a great appreciation of music with a huge record collection that ranges from classical to a German punk rock band, Spliff. By the way, his favorite American act is Frank Zappa. Basketball takes up most of Olaf's time now, but it wasn't always that way. In Germany, before coming to the States, he was a great lover of art.
My best friend, he's an artist right now. He's a sculptor, free artist, and we did all these things together in vacation. During the Christmas vacation, we always went, I remember that we went out in big collections and draw, and he painted very intensively too. But since I came to America, I haven't done anything really.
Olaf has taken a couple of art classes since he has been in college, but his disciplined attention of art has shifted to playing basketball.
Before I came here, I played probably 2-3 times a week in a private club, and it was a 1.5 to 2 hour practice. There was no intensity, no thought to the game, no game psychology like you have here. I mean, nobody's interested. We get 30 people spectating, you know, and we're a pretty good league. That's just the way it is in Germany with basketball.
There have certainly been more than 30 people to watch Olaf play this season, and he says even though he had played in front of big crowds at Illinois, something is different now, and admits to being a little nervous.
We prepare here for a game for days, and your thought process is focused on the game. So you're nervous no matter what. But it improved a lot from the first game. I mean, I was nervous the first game. In Illinois, when I came in at the end of the game, you know, and there was nothing on the line, and it was just different. But here in a game-important situation, you know, you can't mess up.
Coming from Germany to Illinois in high school, you've had to make so many adjustments. What's been the biggest adjustment you've had to make?
I don't know. I like changes, and I liked when I came here. I liked when I came to America. It's just, I think I can make adjustments pretty easily.
I think first of all he had to understand and learn just how to work hard all the time, and which you have a lot of that with high school kids coming in also, but I think it's even more difficult coming from a European background in terms of sports. And then also Olaf, I think even once he came here, it took a while that he really didn't know if he wanted to be a basketball player or not, and I think that he's made that decision and commitment, and I think that he's have really come in along in a positive way since he's done that.
Coach Cruz oversees the entire practice, with assistant coaches having specific assignments. One of Woody Wilson's is working with Olaf.
You know, we just want to try to get him in there, and we've been fortunate enough to get him in there, and he's really helped us maybe a little bit more at times than we expected, but he's doing okay, and we just got to keep him progressing. The thing is that at times in practice, you know, he kind of loses concentration, a few things like that, but we just, you know, got to keep working on striving and try to get him to be a little bit better each day in practice, and maybe in each game a little bit longer. And, you know, like a couple games they're able to work Dan and Olaf in there together at the same time, and that creates a few problems for teams.
Of course, Olaf doesn't get to see much of his family, but he has an adopted one, players and coaches of the Evansville basketball program.
The difference here is, too, in this program that you have a lot of real nice persons. I mean, that is one of the main points of recruiting here, that the players like the recruit, and the entire team just beat players on the bench or starters, everybody. It's a system. It's more like a family.
Again, it's somewhat quiet here at halftime. Aces leading the Titans 47-42. Again, with Uwe Blomp. Speaking of family, what about his famous brother, Uwe?
He is playing for the Dallas Mavericks right now in the NBA. Of course, went to IU, and he said Uwe coming over first really helped him, made his transition into America a lot easier. And, of course, that's how U of E found out about Olaf, was through Uwe. Of course, Jim Cruz was an assistant coach at Indiana University when Uwe was there.
And he likes the rock band Spliff.
I like that, Spliff.
I do, too.
And Frank Zappa.
Well, one of the most knowledgeable people in the building tonight watching the game is a Celtic scout with the Boston Celtics, 40 Anderson. 40, welcome.
Well,
we got a couple.
Very much.
What are your impressions of the talent that you've seen here tonight?
Well, first, it's very obviously a very well-coached team with Evansville, and I like Scott Hefner, the junior.
But, of course, we're talking about Simmons. This is the first time I had a look at him. He's different than what I've seen. He's not fast. He can't jump. But he can get that shot off so quickly. It's deceptive. And he has a very soft touch. He's an excellent, efficient passer. I mean, he hits it right now without any fanfare. And I don't know, he has a chance. His size, he'll have to play the 2-guard in the NBA, but his range he showed me tonight is capable of it.
You feel he'll get a look?
He'll get a look. Oh, yes. Yeah, because there's 3 postseason exhibitions we have, and his name's on the list.
It's interesting that you mentioned Scott Hafner. What do you like about him?
Well, first his generalship. He's a smart ball player. He's got the 3-point range, and I haven't seen him throw a bad pass away yet. He runs that ball club real good.
How about for Detroit?
Well, they got a young ball club. The 2 seniors are excellent, especially Tulis is, shooting the lights off. But they got some size, and in the next few years, I think they're going to be a team to be reckoned with.
When you come in and you haven't seen someone, how soon do you know, Forty, hey, this kid's got it or he doesn't have it? And like in a case with Simmons, what impressed you right away?
5 minutes. In about 5 minutes, you see the efficiency. It's deceiving because you don't see any leaping, you don't see any speed. But all you see him is put the ball in the hole, pass it well, and his position on defense is excellent, even though he's not fast, So he's a good basketball player.
Forty Anderson, thanks for taking the time. Forty Anderson with the Boston Celtics. We're coming back with the final stats and the start of the second half right after this. Live from Callahan Hall on the campus of the University of Detroit, it's University of Evansville basketball. Tonight's exciting game between the Purple Aces and the Titans of Detroit is brought to you in part by Old National Bank, your bank for life. D. Patrick, where the world's great cars are. King's Superstore, 4225 East Morgan in Evansville. Ford and your local Ford dealers. Robert John and Associates, attorneys at law. And by Keisters, your hardware store, and more.
A lot of people think FDIC insurance is the first line of safety for their money. Fact is, like all insurance, it's the last resort. You should measure the soundness of your bank the way analysts and bank examiners do, by the capital strength of the bank. Old National's is double our nearest competitor, greater than all the others combined. More strength, more resources, more protection. There's safety in numbers with your bank for life, Old National Bank Corp.
Make a play for King's Superstore now for King's Super Bowl of Savings Sale. Catch every play on one of King's big screen TVs. Choose from NEC, Quasar, Sylvania, and Hitachi. They're on sale now up to $500 off. And watch the winning touchdown over and over again with a VCR from King's. They start as low as $188. And don't forget to register to win a Super Bowl party, including the use of a big screen TV from Schnupp Supermarkets and King's Superstore. Make a play for King's Superstore now. King's Superstore. Nobody beats King's deal.
Okay, let's take a look at who did the scoring in this 47-42 first half. Aces leading.
The Aces have been having a little trouble getting out rebounded. They've been out rebounded in league play by some 13 rebounds over the last couple of games, and they're getting out rebounded again tonight in the first half, 23-20. The most staggering statistic may be the Aces with the 5-point lead, shooting 57% from the field, where the University of Detroit shooting only 41% from the field, 1 of 6 three-pointers. The Aces 4 of 7, so they've been pretty efficient there, and Detroit's had a little trouble. The personal fouls, 10 and 9, pretty much the same there. The Aces with 16 assists, twice the number of the University of Detroit. The Aces led in scoring by Marty Simmons with 21 points, and it was Archie Tullis on the other side with 17, Marvin Owens with 12, so 29 points coming out of the backcourt for the University of Detroit.
We want to remind you that again tomorrow there'll be NBC College Basketball, DePaul and North Carolina State at 3, and then a special edition of 227 will air at 5 p.m. That's tonight's episode, which is being preempted by this ball game. And Sunday night, tomorrow night, the Stepford children will be at the Sunday night at the movies, followed by a special Golden Girls, tonight's episode, which will be preempted. You'll see that tomorrow night at 10:30. So Jim Cruz sends the Aces and the 5-point lead out into the court. He'll go with Simmons, Gottfried, Hill, Hafner, Dawson, and Bamba. Or rather, Bamba out there to shake hands. Was not starting. He'll go with the starting lineup that started the game. Gottfried was out much of the first half with fouls, but he's back. Detroit comes out with Owens, Tullis, Williams, Johnson, and Darren McKinney.
Bamba always looks like he's out there.
Yeah.
He's always jumping up and waving the towel and talking to somebody, and looks like an assistant coach over there a lot of times.
Detroit again looking for its first conference win. They are 1-3 here at home. They are 0-12 on the road. Darren McKinney with a missed shot and Scott Hafner with a rebound. I found it interesting, Fordy Anderson saying he felt, you know, we've always talked about Simmons as a possible pro, but Mr. Hafner continues to impress with his first missed shot here of the second half. McKinney goes all the way down and in. 6 points for Darren McKinney, and it's 47-44. Gottfried again has 2 fouls.
The Aces have got to get the ball inside.
And just as you say they must, they get it into Brian Hill, who draws the foul on Stacy Johnson.
If they would count that shot, Brian now 1 of 5 on the night. This time he gets it inside in good position. He tries to go up and slams it, gets fouled, and he goes to the free throw line where he's had his troubles. 52% from the field or from the free throw line on the season, and in the last couple of games in league play, 4 of 9 for 24%.
Brian coming off his first double-double. What we mean by that, you hear the phrase double-double, it means double figures in scoring and rebounding in the same game. He did that last weekend against Xavier. He had 13 points and 10 rebounds. When they tell you you had a triple-double, that's when you are in double figures and assists in the same game. Well, Hill gets his 3rd point, and the Aces go back up by 4, 48-44. Taylor with the errant pass. Hafner up in a hurry to Beltra Dawson. And it'll be Evansville's ball. Remember a couple of years ago, the expression you had to play above the rim to play Division I. UE wasn't playing. This year they are playing above the rim, and we saw him going up over it for that rebound.
I think Jim Cruz wanted him to play above the rim that time. I think he wanted Belcher to give the lob pass off the break to Brian Hill.
And a foul on Marty Simmons, and Marty knew it. That's his 2nd personal. Again, if you're just joining us, Simmons with a 21-point first half performance.
Tullis is so quick, and one guy just cannot handle him, and you see Marty trying to come over and give a little pressure. They're trying to frustrate him, try to deny him the ball, and you see Hafner doing it now, and he's got 2 guys on him.
I would think the Aces want to avoid keeping this game close to the closing minutes as Tullis puts it in. I would think the crowd could become a factor late in the game.
What few people are here are pretty vocal. In fact, they say there are 2,152.
Nice pass down to Gottfried. Dan with his 6th point. He's averaging 13 points, 8 rebounds, and he's 2nd in the conference in field goal percentage at 59%. McKinney dumps it down, and Paul Williams puts it in.
You can shoot a good percentage when you shoot shots like that. Good penetration that time by the Titans.
Simmons partially blocked. So now Detroit can tie it or take a 1-point lead. 50-48 Aces. Nice pass into Darren McKinney.
Brian Hill lost his man defensively, so he's going to come out of the game. Scott Hafner or Chris Bamba getting ready to check in. You have to play both ends of the floor if you're going to play for Mr. Cruz.
50-50 the score. Gottfried, as you can see, drawing nothing. So Bamba in for Hill, and Williams will bring it up. Back on this date, back in 1960, January 30th, an amazing record. Dave DeBuscher, you weren't even born, were you?
No, I was just a twinkle in my father's eye, I think. In about 3 months, I would have been.
Paul Williams with a missed shot. Taylor with the putback, puts it in. Rick Taylor puts it up, and Detroit now leads 52-50. On this night, Dave DeBuscher had 39 rebounds in one game. Still a record. You know, a team's amazed if you get into double figures. Down to Bamba, and we're tied at 52. Chris Bamba.
Chris is not going to hurt you when he comes into the game. He plays with intensity on both ends of the floor. And when you say intensity, you mean intense when you talk about Mr. Bamba.
Boy, he is one fine shot. And Archie Tullis now goes into the 20s with 21 points. Beltra plays it out to Scott Hafner. Scott Hafner has only 4 baskets, but they're all 3-point shots.
Jim Cruz talks about Scott Hafner must hit the three-pointer to try to extend the opponent's defense, and he's doing that pretty well tonight.
Darian McKinney counters. Jim Cruz explaining what went wrong. 15.5 minutes remaining.
Hafner drawing a crowd now.
Hafner finds Simmons and draws the foul from Rick Taylor.
Taylor says, you're not going to get it off this time. We've seen you pump fake and get that foul off. There's Chris Bamba with a nice moving screen. That's not legal. And you see Taylor coming over the top. I think that's what John Mulroy is talking about right now. Say, hey, watch the moving screens out there.
Taylor,
they're saying he's not shooting.
Jim Cruz pleading his case. So it remains 56-55 Detroit. Aces will try to regain the lead. Hafner. This is Owens. Ball retained by Detroit. You can feel it here in the gym. This crowd would like nothing more to do than to get excited. And Marvin Owens puts it in. 58-55 Detroit.
And Mike, someone that hasn't touched the ball the first 5 minutes as far as getting a shot, Marty Simmons.
Owens and a foul on Scott Hafner. So the Aces having their problems here. 14:47 remaining as we watch it again.
Here comes Owens, bad leg and all, and Hafner kind of gets caught out of position. Tried to get the ball there, and will end up getting a piece of Mr. Owens as he goes in.
Let's make a correction. It is on Beltra Dawson. The foul's on Beltra, his first.
And they're going to call it an intentional foul. Beltra got him a little bit earlier than maybe we saw on the replay. Now is anytime the officials feel there's an intentional foul or they're trying to stop a fast break situation, they have the option of calling a 2-shot foul and then giving the team the ball out of bounds. So Marvin Owens, an 80% free throw shooter, cannot take advantage of the free throws and misses them both.
When action returns, 14:47 on the clock. 58-55 Detroit.
A lot of people think FDIC insurance is the first line of safety for their money. Fact is, like all insurance, it's the last resort. You should measure the soundness of your bank the way analysts and bank examiners do, by the capital strength of the bank. Old National's is double our nearest competitor, greater than all the others combined. more strength, more resources, more protection. There's safety in numbers with your bank for life. Old National Bank Corp.
The great rebates of 88 have just gotten bigger at your Ford dealer, but only for a limited time. Get a $500 rebate on Ford F-Series trucks, the #1 selling trucks in the world. Add a factory option package that includes free factory air and save over $2,600. Or get a $500 rebate on Ford Ranger, the #1 selling compact pickup in America. Then save over $1,800 when you add an option package. But it all ends soon. The great rebates of 88. Get them where quality is standard. Your Ford dealer.
What has happened can be seen, I think, in some of the shooting percentages, can it?
Well, U of E 3 of 8, and Marty Simmons has not taken a shot here in the second half. University of Detroit 8 of 10 for 80% shooting here in the second half. That's going to win you a lot of games shooting that way.
58-55, Detroit with the lead and the basketball. Mike Blake along with Dean Webster in Detroit. The Aces trying to win their first conference road game. They're 2-0. Detroit looking for its first win. And a foul on Scott Hafner. That will be Scott's third.
And Tullis, who does everything for Detroit, gets fouled there, and you just do not want to send this guy to the free throw line because he is deadly. He is 58 of 61 coming into tonight, 95% free throw shooter, and he is 11 of 12 coming into tonight in the league, 92%.
And while we deluge with statistics, that's now 24 straight free throws. Detroit with its biggest lead, 60-55, 14.5 minutes remaining. Troy Jones will bring it up. One thing I would think they'd want, Dean, I think they want Hafner to drive more. As good a free throw shooter as is, you rarely see him at the line, and a foul on Dan Gottfried, I believe.
Working inside, trying to get position.
That is Dan's third personal.
And the Aces will go with just about as small a lineup as they can put in there. As they're gonna take out Troy Jones. They're gonna leave Gottfried in with 3 fouls.
As I started to say, I think they want Hafner to go to the hole more. You know, as good a free throw shooter, he hasn't been to the line in a long time.
He hasn't been in this game. He hasn't been the last 2 games.
Down to Kennedy. Dan Kennedy, the youngest of 10 kids, all of whom have played high school basketball.
7-point lead is the biggest lead.
The alley-oop to Simmons, and they're going to call traveling on Marty. Simmons travels underneath. Detroit will get it back.
Marty Simmons, that's not an official shot because he traveled before, so he has gone now 6.5 minutes without getting a shot off.
Williams. Suddenly Detroit playing like a team that's 15-1 instead of 1-15. Jim Cruz wants to talk it over. 64-55 Titans.
If you had to single out one area that sets Detriot apart from any other dealer, it would be selection. 9 different car lines that appeal to all kinds of people with different needs and budgets. You'll find value leader cars like Fords, Volkswagens, and Hondas. Luxury cars like Porsche, Audi, Mercedes, and BMW. And the best truck values anywhere, from the affordable Ford trucks to the legendary Jeep. Next time you're looking for a new car or truck, come see us at Detriot.
Make a play for King's Superstore now for King's Super Bowl of Savings Sale. You'll really score when you check out the store-wide savings at King's. Catch every play in living color on one of King's big screen TVs and save up to $500. Save on microwaves, refrigerators, everything in the store is priced to move. Record the game with your own VCR. They start as low as $188. And don't forget to register to win a Super Bowl party from Schnupp Supermarkets and King's Superstore. 2468. You'll really appreciate King's Super Bowl of Savings Sale. King's Superstore. Nobody beats King's deal.
There you see Jim Cruz with the work cut out for the Purple Aces. They trail 64-55, but a lot of time is left. 13 minutes, 18 seconds. Evansville owned a 12-point lead in the first half, led by 5 at halftime. But since early on here in the second half, Detroit has been very impressive.
Aces have gone almost 3 minutes without scoring. They had a 55-54 lead. Detroit has ripped off 10 straight.
You might have been able, maybe you could see the telltale signs when Simmons had scored 21 of the first 40 points. You knew they were living a charmed life.
They definitely have to get a balanced scoring attack, and right now the balance is not there, and neither is Marty Simmons. He hasn't gotten a shot off here in the second half.
Brian Hill, Big Brian with a basket. He has 5 points on the night.
That's a big bucket. You've got to come out of that halftime, or out of that timeout, and you've got to score. And that's an awfully big bucket for the Aces.
Darian McKinney gets it blocked, gets it back, puts it up and in.
That's a great athletic play right there by McKinney.
McKinney, the freshman, with 12 points. He's playing with 3 fouls. But now the clock will soon become a factor. 66-57. UE trying to cut that lead.
The Aces really want to work the ball inside this time.
Hill draws attention and draws a foul on, I believe, Darian McKinney.
Owens is limping on that leg again. You can see him at the top of your screen.
And that's the first player in the game to reach 4 fouls. Rick Taylor immediately comes in for McKinney. Let's see if that makes a difference.
That's a big foul.
Simmons is still looking for his first second half point. And a foul on Paul Williams.
Williams getting a little too physical inside, but Godfrey knocked him off his feet. Got picked up for the foul. And the field goal percentage we got in at that as of that last timeout, 10 of 13 for Detroit. They're still shooting a blazing 77%. The Aces 33%.
Jackson, nice move, dumps it off, and a foul. Godfrey draws the foul. Nice dish off by Curtis Jackson as Paul Williams picks up his second foul in about 30 seconds.
I think Jim Cruz has said, guys, let's go inside and make them stop us. And right now they can. All they can do is foul. And Dan Godfrey will go to the free throw line where he is a 67% free throw shooter. And he's also a 67% free throw shooter in the league.
7 points for the native of Stillman Valley, Illinois. He was mad at himself after the Butler ball game. He said, I'm going to have to go work on rebound positioning, inside defense, and inside moves. He has not been happy with his play of late. Curtis Jackson with the steal. He'll take it all the way. But a little too hard.
Curtis knew he was going to get some pressure that time.
So instead of 5, it remains a 7-point lead, and Detroit has the basketball. And an offensive foul. Paul Williams has picked up another one. That's 3 fouls on Williams. He's a sophomore, and Billy Wood, number 25, comes in immediately for Williams.
There's a kid that last year played at the stadium and just looked awful. He had a groin pull, and he just did not move very well. He looked like really a bad player. And the Aces come up to Callahan Hall, and he comes in and looks like $1 million.
He's quite an athlete. And a foul on Marvin Owens.
That's a perfect call. He takes Dan Gottfried's speed out from under him, and I don't know what the beef is there. Owens is upset, and so is Mulroy.
Meanwhile, Jim Cruz takes the moment. All he's very much in the ball game. Jim calls his captain over and says, all right. 11 minutes, 12 seconds on the clock as Gottfried will go to the line. Gottfried looking for his 9th point.
I don't know that I've ever seen this. The cheerleaders for Detroit have run down here to the end, where normally you're shooting into maybe a student body. The cheerleaders are down here yelling at Dave Gottfried as he's shooting his free throws.
But Gottfried pays no heed and makes them both. 66-61 as we come down to the 11-minute mark. Hard to say this Billy was quite an athlete. He was a fine baseball player. He was a soccer All-American in high school and was 6th in the voting in Mr. Basketball in the state of Michigan. Simmons, nice pass. Curtis almost loses it. And an errant turnover as they try to get it to Gottfried, and Detroit brings it up.
Ace is trying to force it inside just a little bit now, and I think Marty might even be a little frustrated right now that he can't get his shot off, and he's trying to make things happen. They tried to make a pass that was probably ill-advised that time.
A foul as Tullis draws the foul. Curtis Jackson commits the personal, his second. That is the 5th team foul for UE. Detroit has already committed 7, so UE is in the bonus. As Dan Kennedy will bring it in.
Jackson and Wood playing a little game.
And a foul on Curtis Jackson. Curtis picks up his 3rd very quickly. And that'll bring Veltra Dawson back into the contest.
Veltra's been on the bench a while.
People ask me, they'll ask him, is Curtis sporting a new hairdo? Yes, he doesn't have any hair. He shaved it all off.
Doesn't have much up there, does he?
Again, 10:25, more than 10 minutes remaining in the contest. Detroit working on a 5-point lead. Tullis and a foul on Scott Hafner.
Well, see, that time Tullis gets Hafner in the air and he makes the contact. Turnabout fair play this time. Tullis with the little pump fake. You see him go in, initiate the contact, and try to get the ball up. I'm shooting it, guys. Give me 2 shots.
That's 4 on Scott Hafner. And Mr. Tullis, who's been perfect from the line with 4, makes his 25th straight free throw.
We will certainly remember Mr. Tullis's name when we're picking our all-conference team this year.
Boy. (68-61). They tie their biggest lead. Simmons, with a sensational first half, has been shut out here in the second half. Hardy with 21 on the night. Hafner for 3. And a rebound by Rick Taylor. I'm sure Tullis gives those guys fits because he freezes them. He really moves. Again, gets Hill up in the air. This is Owens. And a tip by Kennedy. Owens gets it back and a foul on Dan Gottfried.
Godfrey and Owens both going after the ball. Boy, I tell you what, I really like the way Owens plays. I don't think he's got much of a left leg left. It looks like it's really hurting him, but he really gets on the boards. And Godfrey trying to get the ball there, and you see going over, and Simmons coming in from behind. Interesting defensive matchup now. They have taken Hafner off of Tullis since Tullis has gotten 4 fouls on Scott. So Scott is guarding Woods now, or maybe he's guarding Owens. And Brian Hill has got the dubious honor of trying to stop Mr. Tullis.
So it remains 68-61, 9.5 minutes remaining. And it knocked away by Marty Owens. Marvin Owens as he helps Simmons up.
That's got to be a foul. He reaches in and slaps him on the arm, and the ball goes off Marty. And instead of calling the foul, they just say, well, how about we give it to you guys?
Godfrey. Nice, but works hard. He kind of volleyball the belt to keep it alive. Simmons in traffic, and Marty puts it in.
The Aces really had to work hard for those 2 points, and they're back within 5.
You know, it's never been easy here at Callahan Hall. A few years ago, the Aces won one in the closing seconds by when Jeff Embry made a game winner. Of course, it was a disaster last year, and now it's another tough one tonight. A big block by Big Dan Godfrey. And a technical foul on the bench.
John Mulroy had just about seen enough. He didn't like what was called. And a technical foul.
8:50 on the clock. The Aces back within 5, and they can cut it more as Scott Hafner will get his first trip to the line.
You know, it wasn't a bad play. That stopped a fast break. Fast break stopper, get a technical.
There's John Mulroy, 28 years old. Played a year here at Detroit. Played on a state championship team at Detroit Catholic Central. And was an assistant coach. And boy, Mr. Automatic, Scott Hafner can't get it to go, and Chris Bomba comes in.
I think John Mulroy just said, if you're going to let those guys beat on my guys, at least I should be able to say something about it. The referee didn't agree and gave him a technical. He didn't say it in quite those words. I might have paraphrased just a little bit.
Scott, with his first free throw of the night, has 13 points. You're watching Aces basketball on WFIE-TV, Channel 14, Evansville. A 4-point ball game now. The Aces can get back within 2, maybe 1. So we come down to 8:45. There's Hafner. And Scott, with his 5th 3-point basket, brings him within 1, 68-67. Bring you the game live from Loyola on Monday night. That'll be a 7:30 tip-off time.
You know, the bucket that Simmons got just a moment ago was his first bucket of the second half. He went 11 minutes in the second half. See, right. Owens, he is really, I tell you, he has really been a thorn in the side tonight. He has done a good job.
Jeff Morning coming in for Brian Hill, who picks up his 4th personal. Been a tough night for the Baltimore native.
Brian just does not play very well on the road. He's only averaging 6 points on the road this year, and he averages almost 9 points through the regular season. In fact, in the league play, the 2 games at home, we just got finished completing 16 points.
Owens, who missed 2 technical free throws a few moments ago, makes 2. Puts Detroit back up on top by 3, 70-67. And a foul on Darian McKinney, and he is gone. So McKinney fouls out.
Not a smart move there by Mr. McKinney. He should have been in there trying to avoid contact. Instead, he initiates it. You see him shifting over, trying to get in front of Simmons, and he picks up the foul.
He fouls out at 8:19. And he takes with him 12 points. Talented freshman. He's the conference player of the year out of Lansing, Michigan. But he is history as Marty Simmons goes to the line looking for his 24th point.
He had just been put back into the lineup. He left with his 4th foul. He left and the Titans were up by 9.
UE now will try to cut it to 1. Again, Xavier, a winner this afternoon in a non-conference game over St. Peter's of New Jersey, 75-72. Loyola and St. Louis at Chicago started at 8 o'clock Evansville time. It's not yet half. Here's Tullis. He's one of those guys you just can't let free. His 10th point of the second half. He has 27 on the night. 72-69 Titans.
Will they look for a Hafner 3-pointer here to tie it?
Here it is. And Johnson travels. Stacey Johnson goes up with a rebound.
John Mulroy is beside himself.
Marty Simmons will inbound the ball.
He's going to shed the jacket, see if that'll help.
Maybe a little cool outside, but it's too warm for Mr. Mulroy. Jeff Morning drawing a foul on Marvin Owens.
Detroit playing very physical right now, and the officials are trying to keep it under control. They're trying to slap and scrap, and when you're 1-15, Mike, you really don't have anything to lose. And when the conference leader comes in, you get fired up. And you see right now, they're going after the Aces.
So Jeff Morning goes to the free throw line.
Jeff's had a 14-point game this year. He can come in and give you some scoring. He had a 14-point, 8-rebound game versus Alcorn State.
Perhaps his best performance as an ace is where he'll be on Monday night, Chicago. He played very well in the game that UE won last February. Again, some fans have thrown some things on the floor. Scott Hafner goes over to pick it up out at midcourt. Now we'll resume playing basketball as Jeff Morning has handed the ball out of Brownstown, Indiana. Simmons, great rebound. Boy, you couldn't believe there wasn't some kind of a call there. Either way. So with 7:15 on the clock, it remains a 2-point Detroit lead. Tullis trying to go one-on-one. Simmons with a rebound. And he's hurt.
He got hit in the back of the head by an elbow. I think it might have been Johnson that got him. Johnson really cracked him. I don't know if we have the replay on that, but Marty came down. It might have been Owens that got him.
For a moment, it looked like it drew blood, but
let's take another look. You can see right over the back right there. That's
boom.
Is that Williams?
That is Williams. You know it's got to hurt if Simmons has to stop. Marty, as tough as they come, comes back at the other end. Gets it blocked, and Detroit now will again bring it down with a 72-70 lead.
Marty looked at Scott Hafner and said, my fault, good pass.
6:45 remaining. Kennedy on the drive and a foul. Offensive foul on Dan Kennedy.
Good call. We've got McKinney, and we've got a coach out on the floor. John Mulroy turn around talking to somebody. I think he may be talking to an official over here.
Jeff Morning, who's got a good shot, puts it in. You don't get a lot often to see it, but you're seeing it tonight as he gets into the lineup. And Jeff Morning with his first basket, and we're tied at 72. Down low to Owens. He gets free. 13 points for Owens. And he's talking to Hafner. Look out. Nice fake. Morning with the drive. Jeff Morning.
Well, we said Morning could come in and he could give you some points, and right now he's doing the job on the offensive end. We figured out who Mulroy is talking to over. He's talking to the athletic director.
Owens underneath.
Got bodies flying all over the place.
It's getting rough. Marty Simmons wants a timeout for the Aces. 5:26 on the clock. 76-74, Detroit.
The Aces are hot and on the road to an MCC championship. Help keep the momentum going by hitting the road with the Aces. For just $130, you can travel to Cincinnati to root the Aces to victory over the Musketeers of Xavier University and bring home the MCC title. You'll enjoy round-trip transportation in a comfortable, luxurious motor coach with free refreshments en route. Deluxe accommodations for two at Cincinnati's premier hotel, the Posh Omni Netherlands, plus your game tickets for two. Reservations must be made now. Send us the names of those attending, address, phone number, and a check or money order for $130. Mail to Aces Road Trip, P.O. Box 1414, Evansville, Indiana, 47701. Please, no cash, no phone calls, double occupancy only, no meals provided. The Aces need your support on the road. So mail today, that's $130, and your name, address, and phone number. Send to Aces Road Trip, P.O. Box 1414, Evansville, Indiana, 47701. Go to Xavier with the Aces.
5:26 remaining. 76-74. The Aces trailing, but showing signs of regaining the lead in the last few moments. But it has certainly been a uphill struggle. Statistically, what's the verdict?
Detroit still is shooting a blazing percentage here in the second half. They're 65% here in the second half, 13 of 20. The Aces have warmed up a bit. They're up to 50%. And now for the game, it's almost dead even. The Aces shooting 51 and Detroit shooting 48. So it's amazing how things will balance out. And it's in favor of Detroit by 2 points right now.
Hafner, Dawson, and Beltra ties the ball game. His third basket. 76 all as we come down close to the 5-minute mark. Again, the shows 227 and Golden Girls will be shown in their entirety tomorrow at 5 and at 10:30 respectively. Rebound and a foul on Dan Gottfried. Big Dan with a personal, and that will be number 5 on Gottfried. That is his 5th. So Dan is in very briefly.
He had just checked in at that timeout, so Dan played a total of 27 seconds before he picked up that 5th foul. That's not what you wanted.
Tough night. Dan leaves with 10 points, but he fouls out with 4:59 remaining. Curtis Jackson coming back in.
Definitely struggled the past 3 or 4 games. He just can't quite get over the hump. He had a string of some pretty good games, had 4 or 5 double-doubles, and getting the points and the rebounds both.
Stacey Johnson with his first point. If you don't believe the home court is an advantage, tonight is a perfect example. Here's a team that is 0-12 on the road, and they're playing the conference-leading Aces very tough here. They now have a 2-point lead, 78-76. But UE has overcome a lot. Simmons draws the foul.
Marty will go to the line for 2 points. Marty really working hard now to get the ball inside, pump faking, getting people off their feet. Look at that, one fake, goes to the dribble, pump fake, gets you up in the air, gets the foul, still trying to get the ball towards the basket.
Stacey Johnson, number 52, with his 4th personal.
It may be that Detroit is going to be in a little foul trouble down the road as well. ball is they've got a couple of people, one already fouled out, and another one now with 4.
Marty with his average 25th point. There's John Mulroy. And again, it's a tied ball game.
He's been a vocal one tonight.
He's probably lost a couple of pounds, too. I said he was 28 earlier, going on 58. He is a native of Detroit. Yeah, they were looking for Kennedy underneath, and it's off of a Detroit jersey. Now they're coming in. Joe Kavulich.
Good piece of officiating. Good piece of officiating there.
Kavulich came in and said the other way around.
Jim Cruz says, then why wasn't it a jump ball? And he says, because I saw the play properly. He had a good look at it. That was a good call.
Under 4.5 minutes. Owen in traffic. Johnson goes back up. Stacy Johnson with his first basket, and it's a big one. He's a 6'10 junior out of Flint Mott Junior College.
He has been relatively quiet tonight.
Jeff Morning's got to hurry. There it is, 5 seconds. Jim Cruz trying to tell Ron Winston.
This is a big trip up the floor. 80-78. The Aces down by 2. Detroit has the ball, and the fans starting to get into the game a little bit. Been a pretty good crowd here. Very vocal for just a little over 2,000. Student body's done a nice job over there of keeping into it.
Rick Taylor, number 40, setting the pick on Beltran Austin. Back in. Stacy Johnson out. This is Tullis. Owen. And Marvin Owens is playing his career. He's having quite a ball game. 22 points tonight. Out of Garfield Heights, Ohio. Simmons loses it, and a foul on Paul Williams, and he's gone. Well, now wait a minute. That'll be 4 on Williams.
That was a tough foul to call, but had a hold of the wrist, and Marty, trying to get the ball, really knows how to draw the fouls, and we'll go back to the free throw line.
3:34 on the clock.
What Detroit is trying to do on the offensive end, they're trying to get Scott Hafner out of there, because they know if they have the lead and they go down the stretch, they don't want the Aces to be able to come back with 2 guys shooting 3-pointers, meaning Hafner and Simmons. And if the Aces have the lead, they don't want Hafner in there to shoot free throws to secure the Aces lead. So they're trying to get him out, as Marvin Owens is the man that Scott is guarding. So if you watch this time down the floor, they'll go to Owens again with Hafner guarding him.
Simmons brings UE back within 2, 82-80. 3.5 minutes remaining.